Good evening from London, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast on a day where we are preparing to fly out to LA tomorrow, and we are hyped. Joining me today, I also have the two people who will be traveling there with me, Soul and Chaos. How are you guys?
I'm good, boss. Good, boss. Love to see in the discount, Pound Magneto cosplay or Cyclops. It's one of them two. Well done on that. But also, Chaos, you're live from Guantanamo Bay, Nick. So it looks like you've been nicked for the days.
Yeah, they pretty much caught me at customs. They thought, that I was carrying some illegal substances. So I'm just sorting out the papers right now. Ben Allison has got me. He's got his hookups, so he'll get me out just in time for the flight.
I'm sure Border Patrol saw your UK title and like, this is defunct. This isn't a real championship anymore, and fucking yeeted it off the customs. It was like, get that out of here.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty much. But yeah, Ben Allison, I love the outfit. It was so funny. He showed up and he wasn't even talking to the camera. He was talking to the wall. Just like. But yeah, glad to be here though. Let's get to it.
And for those of you guys who are wondering where Clark is today, unfortunately, he's still on strike from the podcast. Now Anthony and Jacob have joined him as well. They still think the quiz was rigged against him the other day. But I mean, yeah, we're gonna have to fly over there and persuade him to join us again. But yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a show today. We got Jacob, who's also on strike with them from the MMA group, saying that I'm getting comfy for the flight already. I absolutely am.
I must say, Allison, who's busting down unions more? You or the Tories? Jesus Christ.
Who knows? But let's get right into things, and let's get into more politics, actually, more specifically backstage politics. As John Moxley today went on Renee Paquette's The Sessions, where he basically spoke about the entire CM Punk Instagram post, which is, Punk posted earlier last week. And yeah, John Moxley's comments actually might have been more damaging than what Punk said. Mox went on a really long rant about why it was ridiculous, why Punk's comments were unprofessional, annoying, all of this, blah, blah, blah. He said how he didn't want to be dragged into it. He wasn't going to let himself get dragged into it. And then did 3 paragraphs worth of a rant. So he blatantly did get dragged into it. But yeah, basically, the big scoop that Moxley revealed was he said that he was a free agent for the entire summer in AEW. He became champion twice while not being under contract with the company, which is something which I just cannot get my head around for a second. He said that because he was trying to justify the Punk thing. Was like, I can't believe Punk is complaining about all of this when I wasn't even under contract. I didn't even have to be there. And yeah, he then went on to say, the exact quote was he was bending over backwards for everybody. And yeah, he then went on to say that, this is an exact quote, I will say this, and I hate to say it because I don't think I've ever said anything even remotely negative about AEW, but I will say this as an observer. I spent 8 years on the indies, a couple in WWE developmental, 8 years in WWE. I have never seen so much BS drama in one place in my entire effing life. Now, I'm going to be honest, this just makes AEW look awful. I'm going to go as far as saying this. I actually think this is more damaging for AEW than what CM Punk posted the other day. Because the Punk post, we all know Punk's going on rants. I don't think a lot of people believed it, all of that stuff. John Moxley, on the other side, is now coming out and saying that he was made champion when he wasn't under contract. Right? So just after TK got in a ton of trouble because he put too much trust into CM Punk and that, them must be unscripted and all of that, he then put too much trust into another talent who wasn't even under contract. He could have taken that AEW championship to WWE. Now, obviously he didn't, and John Moxley, was trustworthy and all of that. But the point is, he could have. It's a stupid... It's just stupid. It truly, truly is. I do not understand the logic in it by Tony Khan at all. I understand they wanted to put it on somebody reliable, but in that situation, I guess Jericho, truthfully, at least he was under contract. It's frustrating, but Soul, of course, you are the big AEW guy, and I saw, your quote on the Wrestling Republic Instagram page earlier today, where you said that, you know, it does make you wonder what's going on behind the scenes.
Yes, you know, I honestly think the sooner Punk's released and enters back in retirement, the better the wrestling business is going to be. I'm so sick of his shit, honestly. The fact that, like, and I've seen, you know, I've made comments on the post as well, and I've had people say, like, oh, you're just a Punk hater. You guys know how much I love Punk, right? Can you both confirm that? You know how much I love Punk? How much I went out of my way to buy the shirt, the flag, the sticker, the exclusive figures, and all that shit. I was roped into the guy. I loved his work. Thought he was amazing. And after that whole shit at Brawl Out with him basically going after character assassination of Colt Cabana, the Elite, Hangman, and even the company, basically saying this company drew $1 million off my back, thinking he's bigger than the company. That's not a team player. That's a spoiled brat. And I am so sick of him. Now on to Mox, right? Mox has been with the company since 2018. The first AEW pay-per-view, he showed up at the end of a Double or Nothing. I do take a step back and think, Tony, you put the belt on a guy who was not under contract with you, who could have screwed you over. But it's Mox. Mox has been there since technically the beginning of AEW's real formation, led the company through the pandemic era, then had his own problems, went to rehab, which AEW helped with. And I can understand Tony putting on Mox, the massive respect there I think that they have for one another, including Mox recently. You know, he signed that 5-year deal taking him to 2027, as well as a coaching role as well. And I think everyone's got a massive respect for Mox. I do too. I think he's one of the greatest of what he's done, picking the company up on his shoulders, putting that everlasting vacation off in the distance. Renee's just probably like, what the shit? And, you know, he's doing what he loves. But from what I listened to the whole Sessions interview this morning, and what really interests me was, like, I knew Renee and Punk were close. You know, Punk had done 2 interviews with Renee before, backstage. She was the reason he actually came on backstage. And she never really defended Punk. From what I could see, they were 2 very close individuals. She's just like, who's that? Who, that guy? Nah, screw him, I don't give a shit. And it just shows, you know, Renee doesn't like Punk. Mox doesn't like Punk. The Elite don't like Punk for sure. Hangman doesn't like Punk. I probably even believe that Tony doesn't even like Punk at this minute. Jungle Boy doesn't like Punk. Maybe Darby and Sting don't. That's just speculation. The only people that seem to like Punk are Ricky Starks, MJF, and FTR. That's assumptions, of course. I don't know these people personally and what they have their relationship-wise. But the fact that so many people are so negative to this one douche who just went on a full-on tirade and probably regrets what he said, because honestly, it made him look worse. And the light, everyone doesn't give a shit about him anymore. I am just so sick of this. I really think that AEW is fine the way it is, with the focusing on the 4 pillars for a Double or Nothing main event. It's going to be stellar. They've still got the relationship with New Japan. You know, Kenny's got the New Japan Pro Wrestling US title as well, which is going to defend against Jeff Cobb. They've got the young talent. They've got talent that are willing to work and love what they're doing there, except, you know, the people who love to complain on Twitter about their job. Yeah, I understand you don't like your job, but you are paid to work and do what the boss says. You don't like it, you could always, you know, say what your pleasures are. I want to do this, I want to do that. The boss could take it under his wing. But at the end of the day, AEW is Tony Khan's company. You know, no, and I know this is probably what happened to WWE in the past, that too many wrestlers had control over what could happen to them and all this shit, right? But I think with AEW is that it got so many people back into wrestling, and so many people took wrestling, I think, a bit more seriously as well. And people could be like, well, they have all the spot monkeys there and all the flippy doo-dah shit. Look, guys, no one's going to want to watch, like, a full-on slow giant brawl and headlocks for 30 minutes, right? People want to be entertained by the flips and the stunts and the gymnastic elements of it, because it draws people's attention. We're in a day and age right now where attention spans are slow. You know, why would I wait for a TV show to release weekly when Netflix can drop it all in one, or banger is out and done and I can get on my day? I just think people hate AEW like a certain MMA journalist, because it's just the thing to do and it's just all the rage at the moment. To basically take down Tony Khan as an individual because he's not making a product you like, or he's trying to manage the company in the best way he can. Remember, Tony Khan's only been a wrestling promoter for 4 years now. He's got 2 companies under his belt, which, yes, is a hell of a workload for an individual. But people are going on and character assassinating him because he's bringing an alternative that people really like. Pardon my language, but fuck you. It's utter bullshit that people like to go on and character assassinate this guy. I am so tired of it, that people just want to take Tony Khan down because he is doing something that you don't like. Look, I don't like WWE all the time, right? I don't go out of the way and say Triple H is ruining the business or he's enjoying the snowman or some crap like that. No, I just let it be and I let it understand that people have that fans. I like WWE aspect in the documentary and the history. That's what I really love about it. Yes, some parts of the show right now are really good as well. I know I'm going a bit on a tirade in Chaos. You're probably sitting there tapping your fingers like, can I get a turn? You'll get one. So to run it all up, I am sick and tired of the Punk situation, and I hope he goes back into retirement soon.
I mean, here's the thing, right? I'm going to be honest with you. I personally do agree. I've agreed with you from the start that Punk, he had to go as soon as he done that. And I actually also did agree with you that I thought Punk did regret it until he released the Instagram post. He basically did the same thing all over again. At that point, I was like, yeah, the door's shut. No way. No way can this happen again. But Chaos, what are your thoughts on it?
I had a whole spiel and now I've completely forgotten about it. But I'll just keep it short. But yeah, in terms of what Mark said, at the end of the day, it's starting to unfortunately prove all the, as much as I hate to say it, but it's starting to prove or give more ammunition to the AEW haters and the people that's is putting down the company. What the hell was that? Yeah. But it was it just doesn't put regardless what's going on with Punk, Mox, and anything. At the end of the day, the whole company is putting them in danger and not putting them in good light. And it's just obviously raising more questions what's happening backstage. I think you said it in your quote as well. It just what is really going on in backstage. You could say that Tony Khan's a billionaire, he's running the NFL, he's got these two companies. But why is he putting so much trust on someone that's not under contract? It's a very rookie mistake. You've seen it do it with WCW. It doesn't end well. People leave. And then, as much as Eric Bischoff to this day, he quotes saying, "Oh, I told them to go over there while still under contract or free contract, but you're gonna come back." He tried to save face, but it's still like, why put yourself in that kind of position? And there was absolutely there was nothing stopping him from going to SummerSlam, as he said, to obviously with the AEW belt. Obviously, you didn't do that, so obviously that shows good sense of character. But it's a huge risk. It's really a very rookie mistake for someone as big as Tony Khan, for someone as Tony Khan to do so. Now, in terms of the Punk situation, obviously the IG post obviously didn't help matters. I'm probably the 5% that will still want him to come back, simply because at the end of the day, money talks, and the proof is in the pudding. With a lot of people that have had long-term beefs with Vince McMahon, Bruno Sammartino, Ultimate Warrior, they said they will never come back. Vince can rot in hell, all this kind of stuff, but eventually they all come back, and it might pop a rating or two. Either way, it like stuff like this. When they do come back, whether if it's through hatred or beef within the company, at the end of the day, money talks, and it will bring more eyes to the product. At the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. The AEW has not been the same since all this went down. Everyone's at fault. Both Punk, both Tony Khan, everyone else that was in that situation was at fault. At the end of the day, if you want to make money, you want to get more eyes on the product, make some money off it, bring him back. One time.
But if you bring him back, then Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Hangman Page, potentially Jungle Boy, because we know Jungle Boy's not being too positive about Punk, John Moxley in all probability, Jericho, because Jericho promised the locker room he'd leave if Punk came back. All of these names would instantly leave the company. Now, I'm going to be honest, Punk's valuable for AEW, undoubtedly. But is he really as valuable as those 8 names combined? Really?
Well, what I'll say to that is, how long has Punk got left? Before you're going to have, maybe 2-3 years of a very valuable commodity, and then you lose 8 stars who might have an extra 5 or 10 years left on their ability to perform for you. As well, I've seen, we've always said that Tony could want Punk back. The locker room might want Punk back. There's another party in here we need to think about as well. What if Turner doesn't want Punk back? If I was an executive of a TV company and a show that's doing really good in the ratings and pulling people in, why would I want someone who just publicly shit on the whole company to come back in? It's like, yeah, you're a loose cannon. You're shitting on the product we're trying to advertise and highlight. And you've basically just went.
I'm pretty confident they'd be happy with him back because from a business perspective, the ratings.
Yeah,
when it comes to the network, ratings really do matter. Like you'd have to have so many like allegations against you, even a couple of allegations. If you're a big draw, they'd still take that risk.
Yeah, two things that will stop them from taking you back. If you say something racial or anything domestic abuse, like anything of those two, if it's not those two, it's fine.
Well, look at Hogan. USA wanted Hogan back.
Yeah, it took him some time, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I think with certain things.
Go. Sorry.
I honestly think with certain things is if you're a draw, you can get away with more. I think that is the reality of it, which is wrong, but I think it's the way it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, let's go now to a bit more of a before we send you into another rant about Punk. So let's move on to a bit more of a positive subject, and that is last night's episode of WWE Raw. Well, I say positive. Maybe you guys didn't like some parts of it, but I thought it was an all right go-home show for WrestleMania. Certainly not one of the best, but did its job. Yeah, and I mean, the first segment, which I really want to focus on, was the Omos and Brock Lesnar weigh-in. And we spoke about this on the show a couple of days ago. I can't actually even remember at this point who was on with me when we spoke about it. But Omos and Brock Lesnar, Omos needs to win because if he doesn't, then he's basically done for. It's over for him. But I don't think Omos is winning because he made Lesnar look ridiculously weak in this. Not ridiculously weak. But he made Lesnar look weak in this weigh-in segment, which wasn't even a weigh-in segment. The weigh-in never happened. But yeah, I mean, it was quite a fun segment, to be honest with you, like I expected it would be. But yeah, well and truly, Omos just took Lesnar out. Lesnar was scared as anything. So I think Lesnar's winning at Mania, unfortunately. I say unfortunately. I've said it before. I'm not a big Omos guy, but I mean, if they are building him up to be the next big thing, I think he's done for now. But Chaos, take it to you first. What were your thoughts on this segment?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty much given that he's going to win. I mean, like this whole feud, Lesnar has pretty much had no offense to Omos. Even though you say that they're meant to portray him as the next big thing, I think he's one of them ones where it's just like he's an attraction, almost like maybe not too much like the Big Show, but like because he's such an imposing force, they're not trying to build him as have like an undefeated streak or anything like that. So yeah, like especially if they're building up for him to really hit this F5 on him, there's no way that Omos is going to kick out and somehow win. So yeah, it was always pointing that Lesnar is going to definitely win. And it's just at the end of the day, it's just a good payday for Omos. The weigh-in went exactly how I thought it was going to go. Yeah, it was just what it is. But yeah, I'm really hoping that it's just a 5-minute job. I don't want an actual wrestling match with these guys. Just spot fest after spot fest, and then just finish off with the Thunderous F5 and you're done. But yeah, there's not much else you can say to this feud, really.
What about you, Soul? Are you any more excited for this match now?
When I was watching Raw and this segment started to come up, I put my laptop to the side, loaded up the PS5, played some GM mode. As soon as my earpods were telling me, yep, that's the end of the segment, and then paused and went back to watching Raw. I could not give a flying shit.
I mean, in fairness, you didn't really give it a chance, did you? It was a good segment. And whether or not the match will be good is another point, but don't give the segment a chance.
Are you drunk already, bud? I mean, I know the flight's in 12 hours. Are you already pissed? God's sake, man.
That's true. It was good. It was a decent vibe, but it could thankfully it didn't go any longer. It was what it was.
Look, all I know is when this match comes up at WrestleMania, I will stand up 180 and go for a pish.
Well, you're gonna miss the best F5 of all time.
Don't start that talk.
I can't watch it on the replay.
Don't start that. Moving on.
I'm going to be there in person to witness the ring break. Yes, come on. But I mean, it's gonna be an interesting one. Another segment which happened kicked off the show, and that was Miz TV with Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus as they before they were interrupted by Damage Control. Now this is a bit of a controversial take. It really is. I've been trying to get excited for this 6-woman tag team match at WrestleMania. For some reason, it's just not doing it for me. I don't know why. I mean, there's little story there, I guess, because they dragged on the Damage Control and Becky stuff for so long. But I feel like I should be more excited for this match than I actually am. Sol, I'll take it to you first.
Chaos can attest to this. I actually said I was really anticipating this match. I mean, Chaos, can you vouch for that? I did say that. Yeah. Because I thought it was going to be cool to see Trish, who have never, and all these cool women wrestlers wrestle live. I was cool for that. But then, we pretty much just saw a triple homicide on Raw with Becky Lynch violently character assassinating the whole Damage Control, and I was just like, "Ooh, yeah, they're not going to be together for much longer." I mean, holy crap! She basically tore into the whole faction's existence. Io and Dakota were popular in NXT, and as soon as they got strapped to Bayley, they were lackeys, and it was just like, okay. I mean, I think this will be entertaining for Trish and Lita. I think that's what everyone's really going to be tuning in for, is to see the legends wrestle. I think if this will be interesting. I mean, if we saw Damage Control make their first entrance together with the Fiend, a clash, and if this is the end of it, then hey, what a full circle moment for us, boys. I mean, I don't think Damage Control are going to last much longer.
I kind of get the feeling they will, to be honest. I feel like it might actually be earlier days in this faction than we're expecting. But the booking really just has not been good. It's been consistently poor, to be honest with you, around them. But they've lost nearly everything they've been involved in. But what are your thoughts, Chaos?
No, I agree with you in terms of the booking of that team has been very, very underwhelming. However, if I had to choose a match that had a swerve in it, like the old Vince swerve, this would probably be it. And probably that'll be the excuse for them to bounce off or feed into Trish, possibly turning on to Becky, and then they having their match further down the line. But yeah, in terms of this whole feud, I couldn't care less about this feud. I mean, it's definitely gone way long, like since SummerSlam. It wasn't until she actually said it was since SummerSlam, I was like, damn, they are not letting go of this thing. So yeah, it is what it is. I'm not really fussed about it. I'm glad to get to see Trish and Lita in person. That'll be awesome. But yeah, I feel like this will probably be the one that Damage Control somehow gets the win, and then Trish will somehow interject herself or in terms of turning heel kind of thing. That I'd rather see. That's the only thing that could save this, if Trish turns heel. That's my opinion.
Wow, that's the only thing that can save it, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I'm just not very excited. But something which I am excited for, and I thought was fantastic on last night's episode of Raw, was the Dominic and Rey Mysterio feud. Dominic Mysterio came out last night and he got a promo on his father, Rey Mysterio, and it was actually a hell of a promo. In fact, when he actually switched to Spanish, the promo was actually even better. It was even better when he was speaking Spanish. But Dominic, it's actually insane how much he's improved within a year. Like Judgment Day, we can say what we want about Judgment Day, right? It has improved Dominic Mysterio. Like, it's ridiculous. Him on the mic 3 months ago to now, even, it's just a huge difference. It's improved him so much. He made the Eddie reference, which, of course, I know Anthony Ricciardi, who's not here today. I know he would have loved that Eddie reference because he wrote about it a year ago, saying that's what he should do. And yeah, the Dominic Mysterio race stuff it's been fantastic week to week to week. But Dominic's promo last night was phenomenal. Rey Mysterio then took on Damian Priest in a fine match before Dominic then interfered and took out Rey. Then Legado, which I'm still not really sure why they're involved. I don't really want them to be involved. They've done a lot worse on the main roster than I've expected them to do, to be honest with you. But anyway, Legado came out, made the save. Dominic and Damian retreated, but they still had the upper hand on Ray before. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for this. And Dominic is claiming that he's going to take the Mysterio name at WrestleMania. Now, I don't actually think he will because, like I've stated a few times on the podcast now, I think they are going to wait until maybe a year down the line, maybe 6 months, a year, whatever, until they actually have the retirement match between Ray and Dominic. And by that point, I think Dominic will be out of Judgment Day, but still a bit of a tweener, but that'll be his face turn once again. So I don't think this is going to be the handover mask match, but yeah, I'm still very, very excited for it. But what are your thoughts on it, Chaos?
I totally agree with you about Dominic. He has improved so much. Pretty much, funny enough, when the creative went into Triple H's hands, him and Judgment Day as a whole, I said from time that Dominic should turn heel. Like as much as they were teasing it, but they were just edging pretty much under Vince's reign. It was doing the edging movement, and then when they finally pulled the trigger at Clash, it was a sight to behold. And yeah, it's just been evolving it all the way up until now. The whole prison thing was great. The visits at the house was great. And now we're going to finally get that match at Mania. This one I'm definitely looking forward to. What I think about it now, when you're saying about it might do the thing about a year later with him fighting for the name, I don't think they're going to wait that long. I will still peg Ray being the winner for this match, and then somehow, like I said, I think I said before that this will lead him into being ousted out of Judgment Day because he's the weak link. That's how I feel about it. But yeah, he's improved. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a great match. Probably the best showing of Dominic in this match, and it's going to be a barn burner for sure.
I really hope you're right because this match does have so much potential. But Saul, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I think it'll be interesting. I wonder how, Ray can still kind of go. He's very quick and energetic. Dominic, I wonder how he's going to be able to go with that style. I'm interested in more what happens after. Is there going to be a segment on Raw afterwards where Rhea's going to win her? Is she fighting for a championship? Yes, she's fighting Charlotte. Yeah. I think she'll come out and all that, and maybe
main event night one.
It shouldn't be, but hey, I don't know if Finn's going to win against Edge. That one I'm still very 50-50 on, and they're going to be like, we won and you lost, and it's sort of going to be like Rhea's going to go and give Dominic a wee little peck on the cheek or on the head, and then just clothesline him. The cut gets cut.
That's what I want.
Yeah, I kind of want that as well. And then we can get backstage segments or seminars of Ray just teaching his son, son, don't simp. And it's just that for.
Oh my god!
Yeah, you got to teach him. You got to teach him. Don't simp. Bad behavior.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, I mean, I kind of hope actually Dominic turns on the Judgment Day. If I'm being completely honest, I think that would make him look stronger coming out of it.
Is Dominic going to uppercut Rhea and he's like, no, I will not obey Mami's command anymore, and just goes on full rage.
I honestly think you'd have Dominic just saying he's going to leave or whatever, and he's better than them. Like him being the heel still, saying he's better than them and all that, because the Judgment Day are kind of already tweeners. Finn Balor, I think, could get over as a face very easily. But then you slowly then switch the roles once Dominic's out there. It's a one which is difficult to navigate, but you need Dominic in a position where he's going to look strong heading into the secondary feud, but also one where basically after the match against Ray, the second match against Ray, when they do this exchange the mask, when they exchange the mask, you need Dominic to turn face and take it. So you need to make it in a way which seems realistic still. And right now you couldn't imagine that happening, which is why you need to kind of have him turn a bit more into a tweener slowly. And I also, if Judgment Day just turned on him, unless he won the feud against them, then I feel like he might just look a little weak. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a difficult one to navigate. It really is. I mean, Saul, who do you see winning at WrestleMania between these two?
It's kind of hard to say. Does Ray win and sees I taught his dickhead son a lesson, or does the son win and be like, "Ha, I proved you wrong, Dad"? It's hard to say. I really didn't know. It's really hard to say.
I'm going Ray.
It has to be Ray. It just makes sense. Like,
am I just the idiot then? I know guys good. I was like, I can't just book this match. I don't know what I should do. Screw it. I'm just gonna say, the fans are gonna win. Yeah, the fans are gonna win. We're gonna win by having a great match.
Deadbeat answer.
Let's hope so. I hope you are right. I certainly do. I mean, one thing which didn't really make sense on last night's SmackDown was the Gunther match. He took on Dolph Ziggler. He beat Dolph Ziggler. Most of the match took place in the commercial break. Gunther then cut a promo, which actually a decent promo after the match, but the crowd just were dead for it. They would watch chanting. It wasn't great. Why didn't McIntyre, Sheamus come out and make this a bit more interesting, hype up the Mania match? I didn't. This segment really did nothing for me, to be honest. And I'm a big Gunther guy, but it did nothing for me. But Saul, what were your thoughts on it?
I mean, my headcanon was that Sheamus and Drew were stuck at Border Patrol trying to get their visas passed in to get in. It was like, what the hell? We got to save Ziggles. And it was like, nah, we're stuck at Border Patrol, boys. I don't know. Maybe they're at the pub. I mean, the IC freeway match is probably one of my most hyped matches for the show. Just getting to see Drew and Sheamus again. I mean, we saw what Drew and Sheamus did in front of the Classic Castle crowd, and that was absolutely stunning and a banger. I'm really excited for this. I think the whole situation was fine. I got no complaints on it. I do have a complaint about the main event because I'll say it when I get there, but I'll let Chaos go and do his little spiel.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. Don't worry. But what are your thoughts on this? What were your thoughts on Gunther versus Ziggler, Chaos?
Yeah, I don't understand it. I got a feeling this was definitely thrown together kind of last minute because they didn't even say who Gunther was facing. If something happened backstage for this to go down clearly, and then the whole thing that most of it happened during the commercial, and yeah, you're right, the crowd was dead. I'm starting to get really annoyed with these what chants now. They seem to be doing it with anybody and everybody, those things, and it's I would kind of understand if it was maybe like the Mania crowd, but these are just people that's like hometown people, so it's a bit unfair. But yeah, this did nothing for anybody, and yet nothing came out of it. So it's just a weird throwaway match for a SmackDown person to be on the co-main of Raw. It's really weird. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, at least have I don't mind them ignoring they've ignored the brands so much now. I don't mind on the week before WrestleMania when they're probably going to mix it up next week. Them mixing things up a little bit, but still, it made no sense. We got numero one Superfly in the comments. You're asking, do you think there should be some sort of prize regarding the WrestleMania showcase instead of just having the match? Absolutely, it should be a number one contenders match. Originally, they did actually say number one contenders, and then they switched it to showcase, which makes me believe maybe the winner will get a title shot. But yeah, it doesn't really make much sense. A WrestleMania showcase. Just do the Andre the Giant Battle Royale again.
I mean, if we had pre-shows, I think they'd be pre-show worthy, and I honestly think we are going to get a pre-show. They're not. I honestly think. Yeah. Where the hell is this going to fit on a card where you've got other bangers on it, and you basically just have catering matches pretty much?
There is a 2-hour kickoff. But it's just pure promos. I don't know why they're doing it, but there is a 2-hour kickoff.
Yeah, it's just a preview. Yeah,
I don't know why they do it. It's stupid, but that's dumb. That's what they have. So, but yeah, it's definitely a throwaway match. Makes no freaking sense. And especially with the women's ones, where like half the teams are like just there's a mismatch of
the only main team in there is Shayna and Ronda. Everyone isn't Chelsea Green in there with
Chelsea Green with Sonya Deville. It was just the tag match that he had was facing was what Mia Yim and Candice LeRae. Another mismatch. It stinks of Vince booking again. It stinks of Vince booking.
It does. I hope he doesn't have his, I hope he's not sniffing around anything there, but I don't think so. But I think it's just people want to be on the card. And I think that's it. I think it's simple as people want to be on the card. They've got to find a way to put them on the card. And this is the way. But let's get into now the main event. And that was Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa, which the crowd was pretty damn dead for. I actually enjoyed the match. It was quite fun. The Usos came out, but then Sami and Kevin Owens took care of them, which, led Cody Rhodes' people to beat Solo Sikoa, handing Solo Sikoa his first loss on the main roster, just days away from him facing Roman Reigns. So once again, Cody looks really, really strong heading into Mania. And once again, Roman wasn't there for a show. Now, I joked about it on yesterday's podcast, but it's the first Raw in years which hasn't had a champion on the go-home show. In fact, Austin Theory didn't even appear live, so he didn't even have a male singles champion on the show, unless you're including Gunther, which isn't on the Raw brand. But it was just so... I just don't understand why Roman's not there. I truly don't. I cannot get my head around it. I know Clark is saying it's a good point that Cody winning just feels inevitable, and that could risk the crowd turning on Cody post-Mania. And I do agree with him that is a good point. But the thing is, it's not even Cody's fault. It's Roman Reigns' fault because he's barely there. So he's not there to, look like a viable threat and to look, invincible. It's a difficult one to navigate, but Roman really, really should be there. But Saul, I'll take it to you first because I know you have a lot you want to say about this.
Yeah, I mean, the match itself was fine with Cody and Solo. I honestly don't get why you waste Solo's undefeated streak on a match on Raw. I would have personally, if Cody is winning, have Solo be his first opponent, like being like, the tribal chief is gone. He's so injured from the match that he has had to go back and recuperate. I'm the enforcer. I'm going to take you on, and then have their little thing go on until Backlash, and that's when you make it count. Streak versus streak, because Cody's still not being defeated. But yeah, I don't get why the hell Roman's not there. He's meant to build a match between his opponent, and he's basically just being like, lackeys, do it. I'm taking a sick day. On you go, bud. I don't get it at all. I think Cody's cool, right? Cody, the crowd love him as well. He's probably more suited for the WWE audience than the AEW one, because he's done very well in WWE. But I mean, I just don't really. I don't really mind. I don't really, I'm not really invested in this main event for Mania with Roman.
Oh!
Damn, that's a big statement.
Because Roman's not done anything. He's not appeared in Raw in he's had 3 appearances in 2 months. He's not had.
It's not been that bad, but he's had 3 appearances on 3 or 4 appearances in television. It'll be 4 by SmackDown on Friday. He's had since Elimination Chamber, which is not great. That's 5 weeks of 4 appearances. It's not great, but it's not as bad as 3 in 2 months. To be fair.
Remember when Roman was facing Sami and Drew and Clash and all that? Drew had a chair over Drew's whole body, holding up the titles and calling him out. Sami, he pushed him into the ring and told him he was going to destroy him in front of his own family because he destroyed his. Where's that for Cody? Where is that? That's
I don't know.
It's dumb. I mean, the only thing. I mean, technically, Roman did appear on the show in the Goodfellas trailer parody, so yay for that. That is obligated appearance. Good on you. I don't know. There's something missing from this. It doesn't feel hostile. Drew felt hostile. Roman was going to the enemy crowd territory. For Sami, enemy crowd territory, and basically was verbally assaulting him. Cody, it was just like, hey, your dad trained me. You couldn't get over in AEW. You were the Stardust boy, and now it's basically, I'm going to take my break. I'll see you in LA. I'll be in the Hilton penthouse suite, and I'll see you in the ring. There should be more face to face. I remember when the Punk and Jericho thing, Jericho was on the Titantron, just flailing character assassination Punk. Why can't Roman do that sort of thing? Maybe a scared thing, but Roman could go there, but he could be threatening. He could feel like he could get beat up, so he's going to stay on the Titantron at home and verbally call him out. I just think there's stuff missing from this.
No, I do completely agree with you. And in fairness, on the Solo point, right, I think there's 2 reasons why they did it tonight. Firstly, I think they want to make Cody obviously look strong going into WrestleMania. 3 reasons, sorry. Secondly, I don't think the Solo streak was actually that important to them, right? They obviously want to make him look strong, but I don't think him losing to Cody Rhodes, the number 1 challenger who's probably going to be the WWE champion next week, is that big of a deal. Now, to your point, you were saying, why don't they do it after Mania? The reason for that is because I think Solo's turning on Reigns either this upcoming Monday on Raw or the following Friday on SmackDown, because I think following WrestleMania, Solo's turning, and I also think that the Goodfellas trailer, I mean, even that teased it. I think that it's clear now that And I think this loss is going to be that final straw that's made Solo decide that he's going to go against the Bloodline. So I think that's why they did it. So I have no issue actually with Solo losing at all, as long as that's what they do and they use it as part of the story. But Chaos, what were your thoughts on the match and everything which went on around it?
First off, regarding about why Roman Reigns wasn't on Raw, in the words of Paul Heyman when he was at ECW One Night Stand, it's because Roman Reigns doesn't want to work Mondays. That is why. So he's it was a bit weird. I was hoping they might just keep him as a surprise. But yeah, clearly they Raw is officially the B show. That's what it is. They don't want to waste that kind of an appearance unless it's like a big anniversary show or whatever it is for Roman Reigns. Now, obviously, when it initially happened regarding the streak, or when Cody beat Solo, eventually, at first glance, I was like, I don't understand why they did it. They could have done it at a more bigger scale, but I guess I do agree to a point that they don't necessarily, they don't really protecting that streak as much, even though it is well protected, it's been protected for the longest. But they're not trying to. I guess the streak doesn't really matter much to them, and if anything, they could use it as an additional mind game, because obviously the promo that Cody put across to Reigns last week, Reigns had no rebuttal. He just dropped his mic and walked. With this one, is obviously you could say that Roman Reigns would be saying, well, if he can beat Solo, could he actually really beat me? That's more mind games playing with him. He's obviously probably going to take his frustration out on Solo, like you said on SmackDown, and then that will be officially even though it's already showcasing the collapse of Bloodline, but that's even more, crumbling of the foundation, and then eventually, yeah, it will turn on Reigns, and then officially become his actual name, Solo. It's screw Bloodline. But so thinking about it in that sense, I'm not too heated about the loss. At the end of the day, it does make Cody look strong. I didn't expect him to lose, but I was hoping for an interference. But yeah, it's all good on my end. So that's what I think about it.
I mean, there's something interesting there. I think with Solo is I feel like a storyline potential 5, maybe 6 years down the line. Solo builds Bloodline 2.0. He's got other Fatu family members that are across in other companies. The Rock's daughter as well. Imagine if Solo builds a new Bloodline 2.0, and basically this new bloodline is taking the faults of the old one and learning from them to dominate the roster. And that way you could have new, fresh talent from that family bloodline, cheeky, and being elevated in that kind of way. I feel like that's something maybe we could see. It's a possibility, because by that time Solo will be the elder kind of situation, and maybe, who knows, Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns in a career match down the line for WrestleMania.
I'll be down for that.
100%. That would be interesting. That certainly could be. But that pretty much brings our show today, guys, to a close. And yeah, we're getting ready tomorrow. Tomorrow we are flying out. We've been talking about it for months and months. And us three tomorrow on a plane to LA to meet up with Clark, Anthony, and Kobe.
You're going to be spit out of me, but yeah, it's all good. I'm playing.
So I guess this is the last broadcast with me and my hair.
It is. Yes. Soul's hair's going to be cut off on Thursday, which is, it's close now. We're going to record that all. It's going to be on the Wrestling Republic WrestleMania vlog series. And also, I think Chaos, you're going to be doing a vlog series as well for Take It to the Table, which will also be out on the Wrestling Republic channel. So there's so much stuff we got coming up, guys, as you do not want to miss it. In terms of the daily...
I'll say to the viewers as well, I'll be on the Instagram tomorrow, posting questions and stuff while I'm waiting for my flight down to Heathrow, and I'll do some other stuff as well. Keep all you entertained. The Journeys of Soul, the Scotsman to the land of the English.
We have like 15 seconds, but yeah, the daily tomorrow will be with Kobe and Anthony, and it will be, the time hasn't been confirmed yet. I'm going to be honest, tomorrow is going to be a pretty difficult one. We're not going to know until it basically happens, but keep a look on the Instagram story. Well, Soul will be doing these questions as well. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. See you. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.
See you, suckers.